As we should. One of the things it says is that you need to la direction des affaires juridiques, elle est encore haïtienne.
That's the thing. And then she can always go for a walk with her. Mesela bu yemeklerde salata yesen atıyorum.
It's okay.
שירים בבית, יש לי רוב החברות שלי נשארות. You can get it on the way home.
Ναι, το κλείνω εδώ και ένα χρόνο πριν. Γιατί... Ναι, 14 18.
So they must have moved it.